First tonight, consumers set to benefit from a new VAT reduction on unprepared food. But what about the business community? Bahamas Chamber of Commerce president says they're a bit concerned. Plus, a man is dead tonight after an exchange of gunfire with an off-duty police officer overnight. Our News was on the scene as investigations began in front of a local church. And then, buyer beware. From Nissan Notes to Jukes, Cubes, Honda Fits, and Passos. Police say these vehicles seem to be the models of choice for criminals to commit murder, robbery, and more crimes. And then in our news at 7:30, a $9.1 million project ushering in potable drinking water for hundreds of residents on the island of Exuma. Our Berthany McDermott was there for the occasion. We have the details for these stories and more as Our News Live at 7 starts now. Welcome to Our News Live at 7. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Megan Shepard. Police are investigating a drowning that took place late this afternoon at the Potter's Key dock. We'll get to that story in just a moment. But first, the mid-year budget presented in the House of Assembly yesterday, and various groups, organizations, and citizens alike are weighing in. Bahamas Chamber of Commerce President Dr. Leo Roll admits the business community had an initial concern over the VAT decrease announced by Prime Minister Philip Davis. Davis announcing that effective April 1st, value-added tax will decrease to 5% on unprepared foods. Roll explains their concerns.
We know that some of them would have 2 or 3 months worth of supply, and so the challenge or the initial thought process was that they may not have enough time to sell that inventory at the actual VAT rate now, and so they would realize a loss. None of our members have come back and expressed that concern moving forward, and so we believe that the consumers are enjoying it, and we will continue to monitor it as business progress, to ensure that they aren't disenfranchised, but for not being able to sell the inventory that they already had on hand prior to the expiration date that the Prime Minister announced.
Many have asked for clarity on exactly what unprepared food items cover. Roll shares what he understands the term to mean.
From our understanding of it, it's any food item that is actual fresh in the food store and not processed in a way. So if you walk into the food store and you want to buy fruits or vegetables or anything that is not actually cooked, that's what they came back to us and said is unprepared foods.
And as we told you earlier, police are investigating a drowning at the Potter's Key dock tonight after alerting media just after 4 p.m. today. When our news team arrived on scene, the body of a man could be seen lying on the side of one of the shops covered with tarp. Police providing no official details on scene. However, family members identifying the victim as Antonio Thompson. His mother, Tari Davis, confirming the victim was 49 years old.
Nice person. Very kind of do anything to anybody. And it's an okay guy. Everybody stall, he helps them. Yeah, he do things for them. Everybody. Yeah, but he had a little problem and he was in an accident. They cracked his skull and like make him kind of mental. So he wasn't like in the right stage that he was before he get like that. But he had an accident about 15 years ago and that like damaged his brain. So he was off and on.
Meantime, a Bible study session at the New Haitian Missionary Baptist Church coming to an abrupt and alarming end Wednesday night following an exchange of gunfire in the Palm Beach Street area. An armed suspect was fatally shot by an off-duty police officer. Police press liaison Chief Superintendent Sharia King telling us on scene the incident unfolded shortly after 7 p.m. That's when the officer observed a man discharging a firearm. Upon identifying himself as law enforcement, the suspect turned his weapon on the officer and opened fire, prompting the officer to return fire, fatally striking the suspect.
The officer, being in fear for his life, retrieved his police service-issued service weapon and discharged the weapon. The male then ran, and the officer gave chase. The male once again turned in the direction of the officer, fired and engaged the officer. The officer discharges firearm, again being in fear, in the direction of the male. The male collapsed, and a short distance in proximity of the body, a firearm was recovered.
Now, as for the officer involved, he was unharmed and is assisting police with their investigations. According to police, the suspect was in his late 20s. Family members on scene unofficially identified him as Valentino Carroll, also known as Roker. Our news spoke to a church member who was attending Bible study at the same church where the suspect collapsed. He recounted stepping outside only to discover that his vehicle had been struck by a bullet during the incident. He said he had arrived at the church just 30 minutes before the chaos unfolded.
I give God thanks. My life important in everything. My car parks in the front of my church, but that's happened. That's okay.
All right, well, a man accused of fatally shooting his nephew has been denied bail over concerns that he would interfere with witnesses. Alfred McKinney is charged with murder for the November 6, 2024 shooting of Christian McKinney. The incident happened in the family's yard on Finlayson Street, and all of the witnesses are related. Well, if you own a small Japanese car, police are warning you to be extra cautious. Why? Because they're noticing a disturbing trend this year. Not only are the cars being stolen, they're also being used to commit serious crimes. Our Joshua Williams spoke exclusively with one of the top cops on the Royal Bahamas Police Force, who shares what police are doing to reduce the number of stolen cars.
Police are paying close attention to the number of stolen Japanese vehicles. That uptick is glaringly obvious in daily crime reports issued by police. They show an average of 1 to 2 cars stolen each day from Nissan Notes, Dukes, Cubes, Honda Fits, and Toyota Passos. They've become favorites for thieves, many of them used in murders and armed robberies. Assistant Commissioner of Police Janet McKinsey says you should be on your guard.
They are being used for some crime. So what we are asking the members of the public to do is to be conscious of where they park their cars, don't leave them running, try to put some tracking devices in them. I would not say don't buy Japanese vehicles, but just know that it may come with some inherent risks.
While last year's crime stats don't specify how many Japanese vehicles were stolen, overall car thefts increased by 53%, with 392 incidents compared to 257 in 2023. Only 50% of vehicles stolen for the year were recovered. The majority of cars stolen were stolen in southern New Providence. So what's being done to curb this?
From the police's standpoint, we have ongoing patrols. We are employing our CCTV technologies, and of course you, the public, help us with giving us information on what you've seen, and we respond accordingly.
Now, officers have been able to recover some of these vehicles just days after they've been stolen. ACP McKinsey says it's a result of good policing.
Road checks help us in various different ways, but if we want to speak to the use of those vehicles, of course, when we stop a vehicle, we can identify if it's licensed, if it's stolen. So that's how it helps us. So we'll be able to catch the bad guys once they're out there.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
Thanks for that, Josh. Well, it's time now for your first look at temperatures. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is standing by in the Weather Center. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Megan, and a happy Thursday evening, everybody. A beautiful day around the islands, and we're setting up for a beautiful night on the outside. 74 degrees is our current temperature with a few clouds. South-southeast winds at 5 miles per hour. Feels-like temperature is a very comfortable 73 degrees. Temperatures around the islands right now, it's 75 in Freeport, 75 also in Alistown, Bimini. Over in Marsh Harbour, Abaco, 72, 73, Great Harbour Key. Nicholstown, Andros, and here in the capital, 74s. Governor's Harbour, you guys are 75. Central Bahamas, 76s. Kemps Bay, Georgetown, and in Deadman's Key. Arthurstown, Cat Island, and Cobentown, St. Salvador, 74s. And into the southeast Bahamas, 79 in Duncantown, Ragged Island, 78s. Colonel Hill, Crooked Island, Delectable Bay, Acklands. Abrahams Bay, Maguana, Providenciales, Tricks and Caicos Islands, also 78. Matthewtown, Inagua, deep south. You guys have a temperature right now of 81 degrees. Satellite and radar composite. It is quiet across us. We do have some patchy clouds moving across the area, but that frontal boundary that moved through the islands early in the week is now down there. The Hispaniola area, it's weakening. It will continue to push towards the southeast. There's a weak surface trough or a little disturbance just to the north of the Bahamas. That's going to continue to spark a few showers, mainly near the Bimini and the Grand Bahama area. But all of that will be pulling out towards the east. We do expect a weak front to get in here sometime on Saturday. That will continue to reinforce the nice conditions we're having for the next couple of days. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, there's never much of an offseason in women's hoops. Jonquil Jones is set to make her return to the court in China.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
It's the first exclusive destination just for Carnival Cruise Line guests. Celebration Key in Grand Bahama, a multi-million-dollar project expected to help kickstart Grand Bahama's long-crippled economy. But questions are already coming about who will benefit, how much, and how soon. Atalia Hall asks those critical questions in a special RTV Presents, Wednesday, February 26th at 8 p.m. only on RTV.
Presents JITG Music Fest. New edition. Tony Braxton. DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live. Starring Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Remy Ma. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Beanie Man. Escape. Coco Jones. Kim. Also, a special set featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, YG Marley, Busta Rhymes, Doechii, and many more. JITG Music Fest. March 8th and 9th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets at jazzinthegardens.com.
Tune in to Hot 91.7 for your chance to win a trip to Jazz in the Gardens.
Welcome to Our Sports at 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. I know what you've been thinking. How does the top team in the Women's Chinese Basketball Association get even better? Well, you add the reigning WNBA Finals MVP for your playoff run. Jonquil Jones makes her much-anticipated return to the WCBA and will join the league-leading Szechuan Yuanda. Szechuan, who leads the league and Group A at 31-1, begins their postseason run in the quarterfinals this weekend against Heilongjiang, 4th ranked in Group B at 21-11. Last season in the WCBA, Jones, then with Inner Mongolia, lost to Szechuan in the final series that went to a 5th and deciding game. It was a winning day for both the Junior Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup teams at the regional pre-qualifying tournament in Guatemala City. Let's start with the Junior Davis Cup team of Patrick McTaggart, Alec Hooper, and Aiden Ritchie. They won 3-0 over Bermuda. In singles, McTaggart defeated Tobiah Goodchild 6-2, 6-love. Ritchie defeated Tristan Petit 6-love, 6-3. And in doubles, Hooper and McTaggart defeated Goodchild and Petit 6-4, 6-1. The Billie Jean King Cup team, Brianna Holgrave, Sarai Clark, and Tatiana Madu defeated Aruba 3-love. Holgrave defeated Kiana Saremel 6-1, 6-love. Clark defeated Marie Baroud 6-2, 6-3. And in doubles, Holgrave and Madu won over Baroud and Dania Gautier 6-4, 7-5. The honeymoon phase for Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors is going as well as it always does for now. And it's already paying dividends for Buddy Hield. Hield scored 16 points off the bench to lead the Warriors to a 128-92 win over the Charlotte Hornets in their 3rd game out of the All-Star break. Sebastian Walcott gets his first hit, and Jazz Chisholm scores his first run as MLB spring training continues. Walcott finished 2 for 2 and scored a run in his Texas Rangers' 15-6 loss to the Kansas City Royals in Cactus League play in Surprise, Arizona. In Grapefruit League play in Tampa, Florida, Chisholm and the New York Yankees shut out the St. Louis Cardinals 7-0. That'll do it for our sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as the U.S. House passed Trump's tax cut and border security plan. Plus, concerns over inflation and trade tensions leads to the biggest decline in consumer confidence in over 4 years. And from the region, Haitian police officers calling for better protection after a Kenyan officer was killed by gang members. We have the details when our news returns.
It's the first exclusive destination just for Carnival Cruise Line guests. Celebration Key in Grand Bahama, a multi-million-dollar project expected to help kickstart Grand Bahama's long-crippled economy. But questions are already coming about who will benefit, how much, and how soon. Atalia Hall asks those critical questions in a special RTV Presents Wednesday, February 26th at 8 p.m. only on RTV.
Presents JITG Music Fest. New edition. Tony Braxton. DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live. Starring Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Remy Ma. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Beanie Man. Escape. Coco Jones. Kem. Also, a special set featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, YG Marley, Busta Rhymes, Doechii, and many more. JITG Music Fest. March 8th and 9th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets at jazzinthegardens.com.
Tune in to Hot 91.7 for your chance to win a trip to Jazz in the Gardens.
This is Our News. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to stories making headlines across the world. The Republican-led U.S. House passed a budget resolution late Tuesday, advancing President Donald Trump's tax cut and border security plan. The $4.5 trillion package includes extending Trump's 2017 tax cuts, funding migrant deportations, and boosting military spending. The measure now heads to the Senate as conservatives push for deeper spending cuts ahead of a potential government shutdown on March 14th.
We have a lot of hard work ahead of us, but we are going to deliver the America First agenda. We're going to deliver all of it, not just parts of it, and this was the first step in that process.
Consumer confidence took a major hit in February, dropping to 98.3, the biggest decline in over 4 years, according to the Conference Board. Concerns over inflation and trade tensions under President Trump fueled the 7-point drop. Short-term expectations for jobs and income also fell, signaling possible recession risks. Markets reacted immediately, with the S&P 500 and NASDAQ slipping. With retail sales down and inflation stubbornly high, experts warned the U.S. economy could be slowing. And the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, says a newly discovered bat coronavirus does not currently pose a public health risk. While Chinese researchers found the virus can enter human cells in lab tests, no human infections have been detected. The virus, HKU5-CoV2, belongs to the same family as MERS, but does not infect human cells as easily as COVID-19. Scientists say the risk of spillover should not be exaggerated, and existing antiviral treatments could be effective if needed. And from the region, Haitian police officers protested Monday, calling for better protection after a Kenyan officer was killed by gang members. Police union leader Gary Jean-Baptiste urged government to take insecurity seriously as gangs control 85% of Port-au-Prince. The Prime Minister has pledged to invest in police equipment, calling the crisis a war against gangs. Kenya has sent hundreds of officers to support Haiti's struggling security forces alongside personnel from Jamaica, Guatemala, and El Salvador. Well, back here at home, does it feel like it's getting hotter? According to the latest meteorological data, temperatures are indeed rising. Last month was the world's warmest January on record, despite a shift towards the cooling La Nina weather pattern. In tonight's edition of Sustainability First, our Jasmine Brown explores what's leading to the rise in temperatures.
Bahamas first, putting sustainability first for our people and our environment. What's first for you and the planet comes first for us.
Last month was the world's warmest January on record. It's the latest chapter in a continuing streak of extreme global temperatures. The average global land and ocean surface temperature was 2.39 degrees Fahrenheit, above the 20th century average, ranking as the warmest January in the 176-year global climate record. This despite the world shifting from the El Nino warming pattern and turning towards its cooler La Nina counterpart. El Nino peaked more than a year ago. Experts say even if La Nina does fully emerge, its cooling effect may not be enough to temporarily curb global temperatures. And this is affected by factors such as extreme heat seen in other ocean basins and the main driver of climate change, emissions of heat-trapping greenhouse gases. Globally, average sea surface temperatures in January were the second highest on record for the month. But there are some things we can do to combat climate change, like reducing greenhouse gas emissions, reducing fossil fuel use, using renewable energy, conserving energy, and restoring nature. Reporting for Our News and reminding you to put sustainability first, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Still to come in Our News, Today in History. Find out interesting facts about the day that was February 27th. Plus, the month of February wraps up with love for EV vehicles. Cable Bahamas employees getting an exclusive opportunity to test drive new rides on the market. And then in Our News at 7:30, we'll tell you about the newly appointed Fiscal Responsibility Council, formed to independently monitor the country's public finances. Those details coming up right after this break.
It's the first exclusive destination just for Carnival Cruise Line guests. Celebration Key in Grand Bahama, a multi-million-dollar project expected to help kickstart Grand Bahama's long-crippled economy. But questions are already coming about who will benefit, how much, and how soon. Atalia Hall asks those critical questions in a special RTV Presents, Wednesday, February 26th at 8 p.m., only on RTV.
Presents JITG Music Fest. New edition. Tony Braxton. DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live. Starring Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Remy Ma. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Beanie Man. Escape. Coco Jones. Kim. Also, a special set featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, YG Marley, Busta Rhymes, Doechii, and many more. JITG Music Fest. March 8th and 9th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets at jazzinthegardens.com.
Tune in to Hot 91.7 for your chance to win a trip to Jazz in the Gardens.
Each week, we go into the heart of our second city and talk to the people helping to shape this community.
This is what makes
Welcome back to our news. And well, for a check on interesting facts that made the day that was February 27, be sure to head on over to ournews.bs for a full recap. Cable Bahamas employees got a first-hand look at the future of driving yesterday during an exclusive electric vehicle test drive event hosted by Easy Car Sales. The event featured the latest BYD and Geely models, giving employees a chance to experience the smooth, quiet, and high-tech features of electric vehicles. Sales manager Ann Johnson says the event was part of the company's February campaign themed Fall in Love with an EV, which promotes the benefits of going electric.
Today we're having a private test drive event for the employees of Cable Bahamas, and we are showcasing our BYD, Geely, and Jack brands, and we're having a great time. Everybody's excited about taking a test drive and, just seeing all of the features and the smooth experience of an electric drive.
Easy Car Sales maintains a long-standing partnership with Cable Bahamas, hosting similar test drive events in Freeport, as well as a Christmas season to give away a free EV, attracting more than 4,000 participants. Employees who test drove one of the BYD electric vehicles will be entered to win a 3-day, 2-night stay at the Grand Hyatt Bahama, complete with $500 in resort credits. Human Resources Director at Cable Bahamas, Keishla Knowles, emphasizing the broader goal of the Feel of the Love initiative.
This is a 6-week initiative that we have called Feel the Love, and this is a part of it. So Human Resources has found it very important to partner with our executive team so that we're able to show our employees the whole person what it is that we want them to feel. And so that's around the lines of benefits. It's around the lines of just giving random acts of kindness. It's ensuring that as we look at employee engagement, we're listening to our employees, listening to what they would like to see happening within the organization, and we're taking action on that.
And the giveaways continue. Hot 91 and Our News are teaming up to get you to this year's Jazz in the Gardens, March 8th and 9th. Featuring Lauryn Hill, New Edition, Tony Braxton, Beanie Man, and more. Be sure to listen to Hot 91 weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. for the Jazz in the Gardens code phrase. Once you hear it, head over to the hot91fm.com or the Music Media 242 app contest page to enter. The winner receives round-trip tickets, hotel and concert tickets for you and a friend. And be sure to look out for the Our News team to tell us all about your experience. It's the Jazz in the Gardens Flyaway promotion. Well, that does it for Our News at 7. But before we toss it to 7:30, Thursday is the new Friday here at Our News, and we want you to have some fun with us. Joining us now is entertainment correspondent Danielle Miller. And Danielle, I know you're looking to get a jump.
I am at Atlantis Nassau Paradise Island doing a bar crawl. Wow. I did it back in the Christmas with Wendy, and now I'm back again preparing for Nassau Paradise Island Wine and Food Festival. It begins March 12th, and they have something going on every day until the 16th. And this year, at Jerk Jam, Shaggy will be performing, and I know we're gonna have a good time. So go to atlantisbahamas.com and get your tickets. And you want to know what else I'll be doing this weekend? Go to our social media platforms and watch Thursday is the new Friday to find out exactly what I'll be doing. All right, guys and gals, until you see the little dance, until next weekend, deuces. Back to you in studio.
You gotta learn that one.
Megan, Danny's having a lot of fun. I think we need to go there.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks so much. Well, we'll have more in Danielle's escapade in just a bit, but for now, here are your latest headlines.
First tonight on our news live at 7:30, Exuma residents are breathing a sigh of relief tonight as hundreds of households are being connected to potable water for the very first time. It's a $9.1 million project. We have more details coming up. Also, relief at the checkout line is soon on the way. Effective April 1st, VAT on unprepared food items will drop to 5%. A move aimed at easing the burden on consumers. RF Bank and Trust David Slatter weighs in on the impact this could have for Bahamians. Also, the newly appointed Fiscal Responsibility Council is now officially fully up and running. Chaired by a seasoned financial expert, the independent body will monitor the country's public finances. And later, Deputy Prime Minister and Exuma's MP Chester Cooper is speaking out about the controversial Exuma moorings project that was halted earlier this week. He's addressing the concerns of residents coming up when our news at 7:30 returns.
INTI Corporation is on the move, day by day, panel by panel. Our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. INTI is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as INTI Corporation shines brighter than ever. INTI Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
Diet-friendly special.
Every season creates an opportunity for you to enjoy the comfort and security of your most valuable assets. Unfortunately, termites are common and very unwanted guests that never stop eating. With Struckum, you can enjoy the peace of mind as we protect your investment with our 3-year fumigation warranty. Struckum, #1 in pest control services.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Natalia Hall. Exuma residents are breathing a sigh of relief tonight as the Water and Sewerage Corporation is connecting hundreds of residents with potable water for the very first time. The $9.1 million project includes miles of water mains in Little Exuma, Barry Tarry, and the Alexander community.
We have extended there a little over 6 miles of new water mains, picking up about 130 possible customers. To date, I think we have had about 60, 70 plus customers who have signed up. We have made about 40 plus connections so far. We're continuing to make those connections and customers are continuing to come in. So that project is coming along pretty well. The installation there is substantially complete, and so now we're in the installation phase with respect to new customers.
Residents also shared their experience with the new system, which also includes the installation of new digital meters. WSC officials say it improves efficiency and increased water pressure. Residents tell us the installation will not only improve living on the island, but make the island more appealing to visitors. This retired teacher told us she appreciates the installation and recalled a similar project started about 7 years ago.
Until recently, with our MP, right? He see fit that we get water. Yeah, you know, I'm so happy, right? You know that you know.
We saw it come out.
Okay, yeah, we got water. We got water. We got water.
All right, she's so excited. Such good news for residents on Exuma. Well, Prime Minister Philip Davis delivered the highly anticipated mid-year communication Wednesday morning in the House of Assembly, providing an update on the country's fiscal standing. The mid-year fiscal revealing both revenue and expenditure are on the rise as government prepares to borrow an additional $300 million. The Prime Minister also announced that effective April 1st, value-added tax on unprepared food items will be reduced to 5%. A move aimed at easing the burdens on consumers. However, that reduction does not apply to food purchased at restaurants. Well, during our monthly sit-down with RF Bank and Trust Group Vice President of Global Head Investment, David Slatter, he spoke about how this VAT reduction on unprepared food items is expected to benefit the wider public.
You know, reducing VAT on unprepared food obviously is a positive for, I think, society in general.
We could all use a little price break, especially if it's dealing with hopefully relatively healthy foods, I guess, for the most part. The big challenge, though, is that, what was also mentioned was how far off their target they are for the first 4 months of the fiscal year. So, if I don't have the exact numbers, but I think it's over $200 million, the deficit greater than was budgeted. So this is problematic, and you see the debt to GDP number ratio rising. So instead of the trend, the downward trend that's occurred since COVID, we've had an uptick, and so that's problematic. So it's good for the individual, right? Less money out of our pocket as far as tax revenue, but it means less tax revenue for the government, which means meeting their objectives to lower the overall debt level is going to be that much more difficult.
A newly appointed Fiscal Responsibility Council is committed to independently monitoring the country's public finances, tasked with assessing government compliance with financial principles and reporting on public finances. The FRC became operational on October 15, 2024. It is chaired by Christelle Sands-Fees, a seasoned financial expert with over 25 years of experience in financial services and securities law. Established under the Public Finance Management Act of 2023, the FRC is an independent body with members from both public and private sectors. Sands-Fees says the council will do work diligently to produce timely reports.
We've established the appropriate secure protocols for the exchange of information. The policymakers and Ministry of Finance has indicated that any questions that are raised will be addressed in a timely fashion. We have a dedicated permanent secretary who is committed to responding to us on a timely fashion. And so the exchange of information at this stage, we've not found to be an issue at this stage, but certainly as we work through the preparation of our report, any issues we will be determining are the appropriate, secure method for exchange of information.
The chairman also responded to past criticism about missing reports, saying the council is committed to meeting its obligations.
We are constituted. Once we have the necessary resources to do that, we engage the relevant personnel. Then I anticipate we will be publishing the reports, producing the reports, once we do receive the information that we need. And the government, the policymakers have assured us that they will provide that information. So once we receive that information, we have the support. We anticipate being in a position to publish and produce reports as required.
Deputy Prime Minister and Exuma's MP Chester Cooper breaking his silence on that controversial Exuma moorings project that was stopped in its tracks earlier this week. Speaking on the sidelines of the launch of the Bahamas Canada Innovation Trade Mission this morning, Cooper told reporters he understands the concerns of residents. Our Joshua Williams has the story.
Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper says he's standing with the Prime Minister on the outcome of the Bahamas Moorings Limited project. The Office of the Prime Minister announced earlier this week that the lease agreement was cancelled after it sparked environmental concerns. Bahamas Moorings Limited was spearheading an initially approved project for the installation of 250 moorings over 4,000 acres of seabed at 49 locations in the Exuma chains. Yesterday, Prime Minister Philip Davis, in his mid-year budget presentation, announced the government is moving to develop a new national strategic plan for the management of moorings. Cooper, who's also a member of parliament for the Exumas and Ragged Island, says proper process must always be followed.
And we have been blessed with a great environment of pristine surroundings in the Exumas. And whilst we know, as the government has laid out, that moorings are desirable and helpful to preserving marine life and helpful to reducing damage to the ecosystem and the seabed, there's a correct way of doing things.
But what is the correct way?
And we want to ensure that there are the appropriate approvals in place by the environmental experts, by the port department, because we want them to be installed safely.
The project sparking backlash from Exuma natives who say they were blindsided when moorings were installed. Local government issued a cease and desist letter over the weekend, claiming it didn't have the necessary approval. Cooper says they all have a right to raise their concerns.
We want to ensure that there is consultation with Exumians, led by local government, and therefore the outrage was not surprising to me as Member of Parliament for Exuma. Exumians want to actively engage and participate in how we manage our island, how we protect our environment, and how we engage with entrepreneurs who are seeking to do business.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, prosecutors have opened their case against a man accused of murder and attempted murder. 29-year-old Lorenzo Wilson is accused of the April 7, 2021 shooting death of Deanna Gordon at Hampton Street. Wilson is also accused of attempting to murder Superintendent Warren Johnson. Wilson has denied the charges at his trial before Justice Renee McKay. Choosing peace and not violence. The Royal Bahamas Police Force is doing its part to prevent and stop domestic violence. The force, in collaboration with the Anglican Diocese of the Bahamas and the Turks and Caicos Islands, hosting a symposium with several law enforcement and government agencies this morning. The goal, tackling domestic violence that's unfortunately been a part of our community for years now. Assistant Superintendent of Police Kendra Wim says is something that can no longer be avoided.
Domestic violence within the Bahamas has struck at the very fiber that's destroying our country. It is a plague our community as well as worldwide for decades. It is a disease that has gripped the very fabric of society and has taken hold of our women, our men, and our children in a negative way.
Those on the front line say while people have been coming forward, they're noticing an alarming trend that prevents them from taking action.
And if you are not aware, we are seeing more female perpetrators lately. And what is a good thing as well, we're seeing a lot of men, many men, who are now reporting matters of domestic violence with their intimate partner. And what is also alarming, these men say the same thing what the women are saying. We don't want nothing to happen to her. We just want the police to warn her of good behavior.
All right, now shifting to weather. Sunny skies and warm temperatures in the capital, but could we see a shift soon? Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome everybody for a quick check on conditions around the islands and outside our studios. 74 degrees is our current temperature with a few clouds. Your winds are out of the south-southeast at 5 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 73. Satellite radar composite, high pressure, weak one in charge, and that's going to continue to provide us with some drier conditions. Frontal boundary that moves through our area is now down near Hispaniola, will continue to weaken as it pushes towards the southeast. A weak surface trough just to the north of the area. That's sparking a few showers near Grand Bahama, the Bimini area, as well as South Florida. All of that will push out towards the east. There's a weak front we expect to get near by Saturday. Not much weather expected with it, but it will reinforce our conditions that we've been having for the last couple of days. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your weekend forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, the Calic Victory Fest is back and bigger than ever. The Shell Saxon Superstars will celebrate their back-to-back wins at the 2024 Boxing Day and 2025 New Year's Day Junkanoo parades at the event set for this Saturday. We'll tell you all about it straight ahead. Also from the NFL to Bimini, Chad Ochocinco Johnson's Bahamian roots run deep. Now he's revealing how he plans to give back to the islands. Our Daniel Miller has the exclusive story when our news returns.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set up all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set up all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try set up all cold and flu and get back to the better to you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Welcome to Paradise Games, where exceptional service meets the ultimate gaming experience. Our dedicated team is here to make every visit a win.
Now this is paradise.
This is more than just a place to play.
Now this is paradise.
It's where excitement meets world-class service.
Now this is paradise.
Now this is paradise.
Come, experience it for yourself. Now this is paradise.
Click Victory Fest is back bigger than ever. The Shell Sacks and Superstars will celebrate their back-to-back win at the 2024 Boxing Day and 2025 New Year's Day Junkanoo parades at the event, which will be held this Saturday at Smuggler's Cove. Victory Fest is a celebration that honors and recognizes the winning Junkanoo groups from both major parades. Senior Manager Bears at Commonwealth Brewery Limited, Questwell Ferguson, says 100% of the proceeds from the gate will go to the Saxons.
Kalik is the bear of the Bahamas and the official bear of Junkanoo. We are always rushing to the beat of the Bahamian spirit, and Victory Fest is just a part of our commitment to Junkanoo, and in a major way.
Leader of the Shell Sacks and Superstars, Percy Francis, and Chairman Toby Austin, both sharing their excitement about the partnership.
It's unheard of when you see an organization put their money where their mouth is. And like you say, last year they gave us 50% of the gate. This year we got 100% of the gate.
We are a family as it relates to Collect and to the Saxons. And we do appreciate all that you do for us.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
When our news comes back from the break, he's a former NFL star with Bahamian roots. And now Chad Ochocinco Johnson is making plans to help develop the country.
Coming up in sports, JJ gets set for another title chase, updates from MLB spring training, and our top junior tennis stars in Guatemala.
And warm temperatures across the capital today, but how long will they last? Your full weather outlook is coming up when our news continues.
It's the first exclusive destination just for Carnival Cruise Line guests. Celebration Key in Grand Bahama, a multi-million-dollar project expected to help kickstart Grand Bahama's long-crippled economy. But questions are already coming about who will benefit, how much, and how soon. Atalia Hall asks those critical questions in a special RTV Presents, Wednesday, February 26th at 8 p.m., only on RTV.
Presents JITG Music Fest. New edition. Tony Braxton. DJ Cassidy's Pass the Mic Live. Starring Ja Rule, Fat Joe, and Remy Ma. Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Beanie Man. Escape, Coco Jones. Kim. Also, a special set featuring Miss Lauryn Hill, Wyclef Jean, YG Marley, Busta Rhymes, Doechii, and many more. JITG Music Fest, March 8th and 9th at Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets at jazzinthegardens.com.
Tune in to Hot 91.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. Let's do show. I know what you've been thinking. How does the top team in the Women's Chinese Basketball Association get even better? Well, you add the reigning WNBA Finals MVP for your playoff run. Jonquel Jones makes her much-anticipated return to the WCBA and will join the league-leading Sichuan Yuanda. Sichuan, who leads the league and Group A at 31-1, begins their postseason run in the quarterfinals this weekend against Heilongjiang, 4th ranked in Group B at 21-11. Last season in the WCBA, Jones, then with Inner Mongolia, lost to Sichuan in the final series that went to a 5th and deciding game. Over the course of the series, she averaged 30 points and 11 rebounds per game, but Inner Mongolia blew a 2-1 series lead in the final 2 games. Jones, of course, comes off a season of milestones in the WNBA with the New York Liberty. She became the first Bahamian to win a WNBA title, was named Finals MVP, an All-Star, All-WNBA second team, All-Defensive second team, and launched her Nike KD17 Bahamas Player Edition sneakers. It was a winning day for both the Junior Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup teams at the regional pre-qualifying tournament in Guatemala City. Let's start with the Junior Davis Cup team of Patrick McTaggart, Alec Hooper, and Aiden Ritchie. They won 3-0 over Bermuda. In singles, McTaggart defeated Tobiah Goodchild 6-2, 6-love. Ritchie defeated Tristan Petit 6-love, 6-3. And in doubles, Hooper and McTaggart defeated Goodchild and Petit 6-4, 6-1. The Billie Jean King Cup team, Brianna Holgrave, Sarai Clark, and Tatiana Madu defeated Aruba 3-love. Holgrave defeated Kiana Saremel 6-1, 6-love. Clark defeated Marie Baroud 6-2, 6-3, and in doubles, Holgrave and Madu won over Baroud and Dania Gautier 6-4, 7-5. Next up for the Junior Davis Cup team, a matchup against Aruba in the 9-16 playoffs, while the Billie Jean King Cup team faces Curacao in the 9-12 playoffs. The honeymoon phase for Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors is going as well as it always does for now, and it's already paying dividends for Buddy Hield. Hield scored 16 points off the bench to lead the Warriors to a 128-92 win over the Charlotte Hornets in their 3rd game out of the All-Star break. He shot 6 for 11 from the field and 4 for 9 from three-point range. The Warriors improved to 6-1 since they traded for Butler. It was also their 4th straight win and 3rd straight blowout. 5 of the 6 wins with Butler have been by an average margin of 24 points per game. The Warriors are now 31-27 and moved into the 8th spot in the Western Conference. Sebastian Walcott gets his first hit and Jazz Chisholm scores his first run as MLB spring training continues. Walcott finished 2 for 2 and scored a run in his Texas Rangers 15-6 loss to the Kansas City Royals in Cactus League play in Surprise, Arizona. He entered the game as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning and immediately doubled to center field and scored on a Cody Thomas line drive. Defensively, he made the switch to shortstop and returned to double again in the 9th inning. In Grapefruit League play in Tampa, Florida, Chisholm and the New York Yankees shut out the St. Louis Cardinals 7-0. He scored his first run of spring training in the bottom of the 3rd inning off a Cody Bellinger single. That'll do it for Our Sports. This is 10YS. You know, it's not a coincidence that I came back right in time to celebrate St. John's all week. Don't worry, John will be back to catch the tail end of it. Back to the studio.
Still ahead on our news tonight, football legend Chad Ochocinco Johnson is proud of his Bimini roots, and now he's ready to help the Bahamas grow. Our Daniel Miller tells us his plans for giving back straight ahead, and it's been a warm one today in New Providence, but what can we expect weather-wise for the rest of the week? That answer is coming up with Greg when our news returns. Stay with us.
Growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. INTI is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as INTI Corporation shines brighter than ever. INTI Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
This is our news. Welcome back. We have a weak pressure pattern in place across our area that's generating some very light winds frontal boundary that moves through the area well to the southeast of the Bahamas will continue to push towards the southeast as well. There's a weak trough just to the north of Grand Bahama and the Bimini area along the Florida coast. A couple of showers are likely to affect the Bimini as well as the Grand Bahama area, but most of that activity will push out towards the east. That's going to be paving the way for a frontal boundary we expect to get in here sometime on Saturday, a very weak one. Not much weather anticipated with that, but that front will continue to reinforce the conditions we've been having. It should look like a nice weekend, maybe a spotty shower or two in the forecast. Future forecast showing the moisture associated with that weak surface trough near the northwest Bahamas still staying in place, but most of the activity, as I mentioned, will be pulling out towards the east through Friday afternoon, and then by Saturday morning to midday, we expect our weak frontal boundary to be pushing into our area. Just a spotty shower or two expected with that front as it pushes in from the west. Boating forecast, beautiful on the waters tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be light and variable tonight, becoming north to northeast at 10 knots in the northwest Bahamas. Tomorrow, seas 1 to 3 feet. High tide was at 7:22. Low tide takes place at 1:34 in the morning. Central and southeast Bahamas, also nice conditions down there as well. Northeast to east winds 10 to 15 knots. Falling light and variable at times. Seas will be running 2 to 4 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In the extended forecast, just gorgeous weather tomorrow. Temperatures will be near the 80-degree mark. Then we have that front coming through on Saturday. Slight chance of some isolated showers. Temperatures will stay near the 80-degree mark, And then during the weekend and into early next week, those temperatures will take a slight dip into the upper 70s. Another front is expected sometime by Monday, Tuesday time frame. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, thanks so much, Greg. Well, Chad Ochocinco Johnson is an accomplished former NFL player. Last night, we told you about his Bahamian roots that originated in Bimini, and tonight he reveals how he plans to playing his position to help develop the country. Our Danielle Miller has more from her sit-down with the former NFLer.
I've been all over the world. When I tell you I've been all over the world, and there is nothing like coming to Nassau.
It's no secret that former NFL player Chad Ochocinco Johnson is proud of his Bahamian heritage. He constantly expresses his love for the country on media platforms like the viral podcast Nightcap, where he is a co-host. During his last visit, I noticed his social media page saw a Bahamian takeover, highlighting local businesses like TC Films, Luxury Legends Limousines, and Goldie's Restaurants. He tells me his visits are for more than just luxury and leisure.
I would love to start a mentor program, scholarship programs for those, and finding ways to give back to the island and the people that are here in the best way possible. I'm going to get back, with my team and find some of the things that we can do to where I can integrate and leave my footprints here on the island when I'm long gone, and that all starts now.
Ochocinco says this same ideology of love, passion, and respect he has for the country is being instilled in his children so that his footprints usher in a family legacy.
For me, obviously, as a young kid, I didn't really understand it until I got older and became to understand about the culture, and understand about the people and the history, of those that are Bahamian, and understanding the roots and how everything started and where it is now. And I want my kids to understand that as well, so they enjoy coming back here, regardless of what's going on. I've been all over the world. When I tell you I've been all over the world, and there is nothing like coming to Nassau.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Danielle Miller.
All right, Danny, such a positive story. Thank you so much for that. And Hot 91 and Our News are teaming up to get you to this year's Jazz in the Gardens, March 8th and 9th, featuring Lauryn Hill, New Edition, Tony Braxton, Beanie Man, and more. Be sure to tune in to Hot 91 weekdays from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. for the Jazz in the Gardens code phrase. To hear it, head over to hot91fm.com or the Music Media 242 app contest page to enter. The winner receives round-trip tickets, hotel and concert tickets for you and a friend. And be sure to look out for the Our News team to tell us all about your experience. It's the Jazz in the Gardens Fly Away promotion. All right, sounds so exciting. But with that, we thank you for joining us for Our News tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.
Hi, and thank you for watching. I'm Natalia Hall. Be sure and hit that like and subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Click right over here. And don't forget to turn on your notifications to see more content from the team you already trust.